My name is Megan Hanna, and I'm a co-founder of the Clearport Learning Center in Lafayette, Louisiana. Before opening the Clearport, I learned that we had high schools in our area that had very high dropout rates. Their test scores were low, and not a lot of kids were going to college, and realized that that was the need that needed to be filled.
We needed a place for teens to go where they felt loved and cared for. There's no place in Lafayette that exists for teens to come after school between the hours of 3 and 6, which is the prime time for them to get into trouble.
At the Clearport, we provide tutoring, ACT prep, job readiness. We have a computer lab. We have a counseling service that comes in a few times a week and does counseling groups with the kids. We provide a home-cooked meal twice a week. They have snacks every day. It's a safe haven for these kids.
What we're trying to provide is just an opportunity or a chance to do something different with their lives, whether it's mixing music or going on to higher education or just a trade school or just graduating. Anything that's different than what they're currently going through. We just want that opportunity and that chance to be provided to them in a safe environment where they're comfortable and they have the ultimate chance to succeed.
Without this center, I probably wouldn't have graduated from high school because of the resources that were provided. And I definitely wouldn't be going to college because the resources that the center provides are like no other. And these are things that an impoverished student or a student living in poverty or extreme poverty conditions, which is very normal within the part of Lafayette that we live in, it wouldn't be accessible to the students that come here.
Mark and Megan are selfless. They care so much about these students. Mark spends time gathering resources and making sure that every student here feels like they're at home. He makes them feel like they're welcome and that they can accomplish anything. Megan comes here weekly. She serves meals to our students. She offers rides for them to get home safely. She gives them encouraging words. They're just an all-around great couple.
Kids don't choose who their parents are or what situation they're born into. And we are given the opportunity for them to see that there are other things out there for them, that they can do whatever they want to do in life, they can be whoever they want to be, that they can make a difference. And just giving them a little love and encouragement goes a huge way with these kids.
The Angel Awards is a program run by the Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Louisiana Foundation to highlight people who go above and beyond in support of Louisiana's children. This will be our 24th year of highlighting remarkable individuals who give selflessly to Louisiana's children. We award them with a $20,000 grant to support their efforts, as well as try and highlight the remarkable work they're doing on behalf of Louisiana's kids.
I am the founder of School to You. I was a student at several schools here. We moved a lot as a huge family. One of my teachers in 3rd grade inspired me to become a teacher. We lived in government housing here in Lake Charles, and I really depended on my teacher that year, and she made a huge impact on me wanting to become a teacher. And I've been a teacher for 24 years now.
Being a teacher, she completely understands the needs of these children, and that all students benefit from summer enhanced programs. And so many of our children don't have the capability to partake in those types of activities. And so the School to You, the mobile classroom, it's a novel and unique idea meeting the needs of so many of our students. And it actually brings this enhanced program to the children who need it the most.
Our parents struggle to provide their children with the necessary support they need for school because they lack the time and resources. So School to You helps support parents in that way.
As a parent, sending Miles to School to You, I've seen such improvement. Working with Miss Tammy and the rest of her staff, he has really grown tremendously, not only with his reading, but also with his math and his comprehension.
I think that School to You brings an aspect of fun and excitement and a way of learning that is not just so traditional. So it brings it out of an element of the normal classroom and brings an element of, hey, I think I want to do that. I want to get on that bus. I want to see what it's about. And that's where it all starts, is just that being inquisitive.
The results of Tammy's program have been absolutely incredible. In fact, every child that finished the program was able to raise their scores dramatically from their pre and their post score.
My passion for teaching comes from the glow of the faces of the students as I work with them. They want the love, they want the discipline, they want the structure, they want the knowledge. And when you're surrounded with children who are motivated to learn, it keeps you wanting to give and give and give back to them.
We're looking for people who go above and beyond on behalf of Louisiana's kids. And depending on your community and the work you're doing, that probably looks differently. But we're looking to highlight the people who day in and day out are identifying the needs of kids in their community and working selflessly to make sure that those kids get what they need.
I'm Clyde Johnson. I'm a volunteer with Volunteers in Public Schools.
Mr. Johnson first started at VIPS. He had heard about our program through his church, and he wanted to find opportunities where he can go back into the community, because he figures that education is an opportunity and the door opener for children to reach their full potential. So he came to us and said, how can I help?
When I started work with VIPS, they said, what schools do you want to go to? I said, I want to go to the schools where the need is the greatest, where you have the most problems. They said, well, you're going to have problems. I said, well, if there were no problems, there would be no need for the program.
I've known Clyde Johnson about 7 years, and I think the thing that moved me the most was his commitment to trying to help every child. He knows that the life of every child matters, and he realizes that early intervention is important, and he is willing to meet each child where they are.
What we do at VIPS, we recruit and train community members to go into the schools to help kids who are underachieving. So we actually focus on reading and math, because those are the foundations of all learning.
Many of the children that are recommended for participation in Everybody Reads do not have anyone at home who can really help them with reading, either because the parent maybe doesn't read or the parent doesn't have time. Many of these children come from families where poverty is a real problem. They move around a lot. Parent might have a couple of jobs. The children don't come from homes where there are a lot of books, if any books, and they certainly don't observe people reading on a regular basis.
The teacher can teach reading, but what these students need is a reason for learning to read, which is associated with mentoring. So most of what I did, and still do, is mentoring. Just talking and letting them talk. And finally, we may read a story or two. But the important thing is getting them ready to read, and also opening up a world for them that they don't know exists.
What we like to say in this community, we all have something that we can give. There's a way for each of us to give back. We all have talents that we can use to help others. And at VIPS, that's what we do. We're a part of the solution. If we had more Mr. Johnsons in this community, people who are giving back, serving others, especially when it comes to children, we would have a much stronger community.
My hope is that if I can affect one person, that perhaps that person in their lives will affect others in the same way.
The Angel Award winners are about as varied as the 20-some-odd years of history that we've had. We've had people ranging in age from 17 all the way up to their mid-90s, people who've been teachers, volunteers, people who founded entire housing efforts to make sure that kids get the housing and care that they need, all the way through summer education programs for foster kids. Really, it's people who've identified a need in their community, who've identified kids who have a need, and they are working from their own experience to find a way to meet that need.
My name is Jonathan James, and I'm the president and CEO of Hope Charities. I was born with a bleeding disorder called hemophilia, which causes severe internal bleeding. When I was growing up, hemophilia was really known as the crippling disease, and a lot of people don't realize that hemophilia causes severe internal bleeding, and a byproduct of that bleeding is severe joint deterioration. And in my case, I had so much deterioration from thousands of internal bleeds that over time I needed surgery to repair all of that damage, which led to me being in a wheelchair for over 2 years.
I met Jonathan through his dad, but before I met Jonathan, I knew about Jonathan's growing up, that he had hemophilia, and the challenges that the entire family had faced throughout Jonathan's life, and how Jonathan had taken those challenges and turned them into a foundation.
My two boys were diagnosed with hemophilia, Brennan and Ashton. Brennan is 14 now. He was 10 at the time, and Ashton was 1. You know, if you lose a tooth or your child loses a tooth, you just pull a tooth out and you put it on the pill and you get $10. When his tooth or my little one's tooth, they start getting loose, we have to go to Tulane and they have to get factor injections and they have to get a Profo, you know, to make sure that when that tooth comes out and you bleed, it stops.
In 2009, my wife and I helped start this foundation to help families who are going through chronic illness and facing a crisis find resources and financial assistance.
People need rental assistance and assistance with getting their cars repaired so they have transportation to medical treatment. They need utility bills paid, they need home repairs, and their situation is complicated because they are unable to work or unable for both parents to work, or they have been out of work for a long period of time because they were staying at home with sick children.
Hemophilia is so rare and people don't know about it so much, is that we keep our own medicine on hand because even the local large hospitals don't have the factor on hand. You know, during the floods, we lost all our factor. To resupply, so what we had was around $35,000 worth of medicine that we had to keep, that we lost. Hope Charities stepped in and they were able to get us in contact with different vendors who were able to supply us and give us, you know, resupplies with that.
Hope Charities was really birthed out of this idea that a community could surround their friends and family and really support them, you know, financially, but also with emotional support and help. And still today, that's what we're trying to cultivate. We're trying to cultivate an opportunity where people can take a stand for their friends, their neighbors, their family members that are going through difficulties with chronic illness. And together, we can do something great for each other if we stick together. That's what Hope Charities is all about.
Angel Award winners receive a $20,000 grant to an organization of their choice, usually the organization that they've been most involved with. And then those angels are also highlighted at an award ceremony we host in their honor. We put together videos documenting the incredible work they do, all with the hope that people throughout Louisiana will learn from their story, will see the great work that they're doing, and will hopefully, in addition to us, find ways to support the work that they are doing on behalf of kids.
My name is Peggy Kirby. I'm with the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association.
Having a foster family that shows consistent love and care, and you know that has your back for all things, really lays a foundation for a foster child to build on. Even if they leave the home, a strong foundation has been laid, and that's just a valuable role that foster parents can play in the life of a child.
Over the last 30 years, my husband and I have fostered over 100 teenage girls. Many of the teenage girls that come into our home have challenges and they've never lived in a functional family home. They are behind in school, they've not had the stability that they needed to become young adults.
Peggy's the executive director of the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parent Association, and she has been able to directly influence legislation, policy. She works on a state level with DCFS, and she's just been very beneficial as a mentor to foster parents throughout the state of Louisiana.
The work that the Louisiana Foster and Adoptive Parents Association does is so vital in support of foster care. They mentor new foster parents, but they also advocate for children in foster care as well as current foster parents. And in addition, they raise the bar in expectations of providing quality parenting in Louisiana.
Being with Ms. Peggy allowed me to be a normal 14 and 15-year-old and not have to take on responsibilities as an adult would, and be able to look up to an adult and be able to think to yourself, she's going to be here whether you make mistakes or not. This is what a mom's supposed to be like.
I had been her home development worker and actually was in her home on many occasions. And I want to emphasize that Peggy's home is a home. It is a true home where children come in that have been abused, abandoned, and neglected and may for the first time have a birthday party, have a new dress to wear to church. They go on trips like any other family. They participate in sports activities. She works with them to ensure that their education is on track as they transition into adulthood. For the time that they are in her home and far beyond, Peggy is a true mother figure to these young ladies.
As a foster parent myself, Peggy's been such an inspiration to me. I see the way that she cares for them. I see her creativity with them. And I learned to be a better foster parent by watching Peggy and what she does.
We're looking for great nominees throughout Louisiana, but particularly we know that there are people in Northeast Louisiana, Central Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, and down in the Houma-Thibodaux region that are doing wonderful things. And we traditionally haven't gotten as many nominations from those communities as we might like. So if you're somebody listening or watching up in Northeast Louisiana, Central Louisiana, Southwest Louisiana, or Houma-Thibodaux, please let us know about those remarkable people working on behalf of kids.
My name is Kim Bigler, and I'm the founder, executive director of James Storehouse, Louisiana. I was made aware of a young girl. At 16, she was emancipating herself out of the foster care system and had experienced some abusive homes and situations after 16 placements, having all these unmet needs all of her life. So it was a kind of a call to action to me. And I went and got the heater, and that's kind of how James Storehouse began.
The Department of Children and Family Services and James Storehouse has a critical relationship. James Storehouse provides concrete services. If a grandmother has accepted her grandchildren into her home and the only barrier is she doesn't have 4 beds for them, they can make a call at James Storehouse. Those beds will be delivered in 24 hours. Basics, concrete needs, as well as support, moral encouragement, and having the support system that extends beyond the Department of Children and Family Services into the community. That's what James Storehouse provides.
Our Resource Center provides clothing for kids coming into foster care, newborns to age 18, and anyone in between. Boys and girls can get their school clothes needs met. We also have toy area. A lot of times these kids lose their toys in different transitions, and so when they come into our center and they see the toy area, that immediately puts a smile on their face.
I think when children come into foster care, especially the older children, the foster youth, I think that they think that they're not like everybody else and they don't feel normal. And I think Kim helps bridge the gap to make them feel as normal as possible, to help them participate in extracurricular activities and do all the things that children would do normally in high school or middle school, and let them have the normal life that they deserve.
Kim Bigler has given us a good example of how one person can really make a difference in the community, and that in itself, I think, is a call to action for all of us.
Simple felt needs and meeting those needs to kids in foster care is a really big deal. It says, I see you. It says, I know you. It says, you're worth something. You're worth care. I care for you, even love. And one word that comes to mind is hope, that I'm not alone. And I do have a village, because this person supplied something for me that I needed. And when I expressed that need, here it is in my hands. That's a very big deal for any child going through the foster care system.
The mission of Blue Cross is to improve the health and lives of people in Louisiana, and the Blue Cross Foundation started as an effort to meet the needs of Louisiana's children. And what we've learned throughout our history is that people who are living in communities and working in communities are often the ones who are finding kids that are facing the most challenges and meeting those needs. So the Angel Awards is a way that we can highlight that incredible work, can give them some resources and give back to people and communities that are doing so much. The nomination process is pretty simple. You visit our website, which is bcbslafoundation.org/nominate, and there's a simple form to fill out. It's going to ask, who are you, who is the person that you're nominating, and what are they doing on behalf of Louisiana's children? The nomination process is running through Friday, April 13th. The nominations only take probably 10 or 15 minutes to fill out a complete nomination form. We would encourage people to visit our website, which is www.bcbslafoundation.org/nominate. Fill out the form today and help us to identify some really remarkable people throughout the state of Louisiana.